In this video, I'll show you how to fix the issue in Valorant where the game is either stuttering or freezing. Now, this is a nice and simple one to fix. You would just need to follow each of the steps I'm about to provide. So the first thing we're going to do is head over to our desktop and we're going to come to our start menu and search for Device Manager and then just head over to the Device Manager tab. From this list, we need to come down to Display Adapters and expand this list, and you need to locate your graphics card from this list. So mine's this AMD graphics card here, and we simply need to right click on it, come into Update Driver, and then press Search Automatically for drivers. And if you already have the latest driver installed on your computer, then we can then close out of that window and close out of this. And we're next going to come over to the Start menu, and we're going to search for Settings and then head over to the Settings tab. From the left hand side here, we need to come down to Windows Update, and it's always worth ensuring that we're fully up to date here in Windows just by pressing this Check for Updates button and installing any pending updates that are available. And then from the left hand side, we need to come to System, inside of Display, and scroll all the way down to Graphics. And first thing we need to do is press Change Default Graphics Settings at the top here, and we're actually going to disable this option at the top here, Hardware Accelerated GPU Scheduling. Now I know here it says that it can improve performance, which is usually the case for most games and applications. However, for Valorant, having this option turned on can actually cause stuttering and freezing issues, so you need to make sure this is turned off, and then we can press the back arrow at the top here, and we're then going to add Valorant to this list of applications by coming over to this browse button, and you need to select the Valorant application. Now if you're not sure where that's saved, it's usually located within your C drive, inside of the Riot Games folder, inside of Valorant, come into Live, and we need to double click this valorant.exe file, and this will be labeled here as Bootstrap Packaged Game, and you just need to come into Options and make sure High Performance is selected from here and hit Save. And then we're also going to come back up to the Browse button, and we're going to come inside of this Shooter Game folder, inside of Binaries, Win64, and then you need to double click on this Valorant Win64 file, and I've just got a notification saying it's already added to the list. So if we scroll down, it will be labeled in here as Valorant, and once again we just need to select this and come into Options and make sure High Performance is selected from here and hit Save, and you can then close out of the settings window, and we're going to head over to our Start menu and this time search for Task Manager and then tap on the Task Manager tab. Now the first thing you need to do inside of here is just close down any background applications that we don't need running on our computer, and you'll be surprised by how many things that are probably in here that we don't actually need running. So just right click on anything you don't need and select End Task. Obviously make sure not to close down anything that you're not sure what it is, as it could be an important Microsoft task. And then from the left hand side here, we need to come over to Startup Apps, and we're going to disable any startup applications that once again we don't need starting up on our computer when our computer first launches. So for example, I've got this PDF service down here that launches up on my computer when I start it, which I don't need running, so I'm just going to right click this and select Disable. And once you've gone through this list of applications, we can then head out of this window, and the next thing you're going to do is head back over to the Start menu, and this time we're going to search for Control Panel and then just head over to the Control Panel window. From here, make sure View By is set to Large Icons, and then come inside of Power Options, and you need to ensure that this High Performance plan is selected here. And once you've selected the High Performance plan, we can then close out of this, and we're going to come over to Valorant on our desktop here, and we're just going to right click this application and come over to Open File Location, and you should see now this Riot Client Services.exe file. So we're just going to right click on this, come into Properties, and head into the Compatibility tab. Now just ensure Disable Full Screen Optimizations and also Run This Program as Administrator are both ticked here, and hit Apply and OK. And then you'll need to come back one folder by hitting this back arrow inside of Valorant, inside of Live, and we're now going to right click on this Valorant.exe file, come inside of Properties, and once again inside of the Compatibility tab and ensure Disable Full Screen Optimizations and Run This Program as Administrator are both ticked, hit Apply and OK. And lastly, we're going to come inside of Shooter Game, inside of Binaries, Win64, and scroll all the way down here to find the Valorant application, and we're going to right click on this Win64 one, come into Properties, and once again Compatibility, and ensure Disable Full Screen Optimizations and Run This Program as Administrator are both ticked, and hit Apply and OK. We can then double click on Valorant to launch up the game. Now once you're inside of Valorant, there's just a few settings that we need to change in here, so press the Escape key on your keyboard to bring up the settings menu, and we're going to head over to the General tab. And we're going to scroll all the way down here, and you should see this network buffering section, and you want to make sure this is changed to minimum, and we're then going to head over to the video tab at the top, and you need to ensure that display mode is set to full screen and not windowed full screen or windowed. It's very important that this is set to full screen. And then if we come over to graphics quality here, one important setting that we can change is this VSync option. Now, for most of you, I would recommend keeping this off. However, if you are experiencing stuttering or freezing, then it might be worth actually enabling this option to see if that fixes the issue for you. So you'll just have to have a play around with this to see which one works better. But for me, I'm going to leave this as off. And then we have these graphic quality settings over here, and I'd recommend just reducing some of these to improve the overall performance of the game. So things like detail quality we can set to low, anti-aliasing I also like to keep at none, improve clarity we can switch off, and also cast shadows down here we can switch off. And then if you close out of this window to save your settings, that should have fixed any stuttering issues you were experiencing. Now if this video did help you, then please consider dropping a like and subscribing. Until next time.